Throwback Thursday, it was last week. Gardening expert Ginny Rosenkranz from the University of Maryland Extension Office peppered us with a few pro tips on how to start a vegetable garden. Fast forward to today. We are now going to learn how to nourish the veggies in the early stages of their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present you Ginny Rosenkranz. Ginny, thank you so much for joining us again this week.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun to share my love of flowers with everybody.
You have plenty of it to share, but Ginny, I got to ask you this. I'm looking at growing veggies. Why do I need flowers for veggies?
You know, a lot of people say the same thing. I plant my tomatoes. What do I need flowers for? Well, the thing is, if you can have flowers right beside your vegetable garden and they're already in bloom, then you're going to have all the pollinators come early before your vegetables have actually started to bloom too, because it takes a while for a lot of the vegetables to start to bloom. But if you have like one or two flowers, the pollinators aren't going to be bothering with you. It's just like, I just don't have time with that. But, you know, if you have a whole bunch of flowers that offer so many different choices, like for instance, these gorgeous daisies are super because it's the flower is like a platter where you just sit there and take a bouquet. And I love this gorgeous blue ageratum because, again, so many little flowers. And it says to the pollinators, come visit. I have this outside during the daytime, and I've already had butterflies all around it. So what that says to me is if you have the flowers first, and then your actual vegetable plants start to actually have flowers, those pollinators are already ready there. So you're going to have beautiful things to grow. I have some strawberries outside that are flowers, but I also have some little strawberries because I've had pollinators.
You said you had those outside. Does that mean
Yes.
I should keep them in pots and bring them back in? Can I go ahead and plant the flowers outside?
Yeah, this time of year, we are still in like the second week in April. And because of the fact that we're in the mid-Atlantic area, our last frost-free date is like the end of April, not the middle of April. So I always tell people, when you have your plants, like I have tomato plants that I bring out, I have all these flowers I bring out. I bring them out in the sunshine on a nice day. And then I bring them back in the evening before it gets really cold. Because if we have a freeze and I leave them outside, all my tender loving care of this is just gone.
We're supposed to drop to freezing, if not below tonight. So that means we can lose some things tonight, right?
That's exactly right. So I'm already sending emails to my master gardeners and some friends to say, look, if you have already planted things, put towels over top of them or put sheets over top of them. It can just be old sheets or old towels or something, old tablecloths, just things to keep the frost from actually landing on the flowers. I have a lot of daffodils that are still in bloom and tulips and flowers on my shrubs in bloom. I can't do anything about them, but they're geared for the cold. These guys are just, you know, since they're still in containers, I can bring them in. If I've already planted some outside, I can put those things on, and that might help.
Now, I know that some crops, like the peach crops and such, they set out sprinklers. Is that something we can do?
Peach crops, for the most part, would be, they will prefer to keep the air moving. And part of the reason why we have frost is that it becomes very still and the cold air sinks. And when it sinks and lands on the plants and it stays really cold, that's when the frost comes. If the peach orchard can keep the air moving, then the cold air will keep moving away and it won't have a chance to settle on the peach flowers. You'll see quite often a large orchard will often even rent helicopters to keep the air moving. But if they can't afford that, they might go ahead and just put smudge pots out to keep the air moving, because if you have a smudge pot, like a barrel that you can go ahead and put some stuff that'll burn and smoke, as that goes up in the air, it kind of displaces the cold. So it's all a matter of keeping the air moving.
So if I've got my flowers outside, I don't need a smudge pot, I don't need my helicopter, I can just spread some light plastic or sheets out there and keep the frost off the petals.
Yes, and that should help. That should help.
Ginny Rosenkranz,
if you've already planted them, if you haven't, bring them inside.
You are the most amazing person in the whole wide world. Ginny Rosenkranz, our expert gardener. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me and my beautiful friends.